Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Profitable Mindset Podcast. We're diving into a concept today that's key to building long-term wealth. It's the power of compounding. It's not about getting rich quick schemes, it's more about consistent growth that can really snowball over time.
Yeah, you got it. Compounding is like that snowball effect. Just imagine it rolling down a hill, picking up more snow, and getting bigger and bigger with every turn. That's how your wealth can grow if you know how to leverage compounding.
So let's unpack this a bit. We hear all the time about linear versus exponential growth. What's the difference, and why should we care about it?
It's a difference that could mean thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars gained or lost. It all depends on which side of the equation you're on. Linear growth is kind of like saving a set amount each year. Predictable, but it only gets you so far. Exponential growth is different. That's where compounding really comes in. It's when your returns actually generate even more returns.
Can you give us an example to really illustrate this? What's the difference in outcome between these two types of growth?
Sure. Let's say you save $1,000 every year for 10 years. You'll end up with $10,000. Pretty simple math. But now let's say you invest $10,000 with a 10% annual return for the same 10 years. Well, thanks to compounding, you'd end up with over $25,000. That difference is the magic of compounding.
Wow, a difference of over $15,000. That's a lot. This really shows how compounding can really speed up building wealth. Have you heard the chessboard and rice analogy?
Oh yeah, the one where each square on the chessboard has double the amount of rice as the square before. It seems simple enough, but people are always so surprised when they realize that there would be more than 18 quintillion grains of rice on that last square. It really shows the power of exponential growth and how crucial it is for investors to understand this.
That's a crazy number.
Yeah.
It really makes you realize that consistent small gains can lead to massive results over time. So let's talk about simple interest versus compound interest. What's the key difference and why is it so important to really grasp that?
Simple interest is exactly what it sounds like. You only earn interest on the money you initially invested. So for example, if you put $100 in an account with a 5% simple interest rate, you'd get $5 each year. It wouldn't matter how long you keep the money in there. Compounding is totally different. You get interest not only on that first $100, but also on all the interest you earned in past years. So it's like your interest is actually earning even more interest.
So it's like your money is working over time. Okay, so time plays a really important role in compounding. Why is it so important to start investing early, even if it's just with small amounts?
You can think of time as the runway for your financial jet to take off. The longer that runway, the more speed and altitude you can gain. Delaying even a year or two can really change your outcome.
So it's not just how much you invest, but when you start.
Exactly. Let's say we have two investors. Investor A invests $5,000 every year starting at 25 and stops at 35 with an 8% return each year. Investor B starts at 35, invests the same amount and gets the same return but keeps investing until 65. Who do you think ends up with more?
Well, investor B is investing for a lot longer, so investor B.
Actually, no. Investor A would end up with much more, even though they put in less money overall. That's the magic of those early years of compounding. It really takes hold and sets you up for exponential growth.
Wow. It really shows that investing even a little bit early can make a world of difference. Okay, so let's talk about a myth. Can you catch up later in life if you start investing later?
Unfortunately, it's not that simple. A lot of people think that they can just invest more later and make up for the time they missed, but that's not how compounding works. You just can't replace time.
So even if you double or triple your contributions later, it won't make up for all that time.
Exactly. You'd just be playing catch up. And even though you can build wealth investing consistently, you missed out on compounding during those early years, and that can make a big difference on your returns.
All right, so let's talk about the rule of 72. Can you explain what it is and how we can use it?
The rule of 72 is a quick way to estimate how long it'll take for your investment to double. You just divide 72 by the annual interest rate. So for example, if your return is 6%, it would take about 12 years for your investment to double.
So if you could get that return up to 8%, your investment would double in only 9 years. It really shows the impact of even a small increase in your return rate. It's a great way to get a quick idea of how different interest rates can affect your long-term investment goals. Okay, so let's move on to reinvesting. Why is this so important for compounding?
Reinvesting is like throwing fuel on the fire of compounding. It means putting your returns back into your investments so they can grow even more. You're making your money work harder.
So it's not just about your initial investment growing. You're using those gains to get even more growth.
That's right. A great example of this is dividend reinvestment. Instead of pocketing that dividend money, you use it to buy more shares of the same stock. That means more shares, which means even more dividends.
Okay, and what about reinvesting capital gains?
That's a great strategy too, especially for accounts that are tax advantaged. When your investments go up in value, you can buy more shares with those gains. This lets you benefit from compounding, and you can wait to pay taxes until you sell your investment.
That's a really great tip. So reinvesting is like adding another layer of growth on top of your initial investment. It just speeds up the process of building wealth.
Exactly. It's like adding rocket boosters to your financial goals.
So before we wrap up this first part of our discussion on compounding, let's talk about some practical strategies our listeners can use to make this work for them.
Definitely. The most important thing is to start investing now, even if it's just a little bit. Time is so important when it comes to compounding, so the sooner you begin, the better. That's it. It really rewards people who are patient. So for people who want to build passive income, compounding is a big part of building a portfolio of dividend growth stocks.
Dividend growth stocks. Can you explain a little more about those?
Think of companies that raise their dividend payouts every year. These are often companies that are already well-established, financially solid, with a history of sharing their profits with investors.
So you're not just getting a dividend, you're getting a raise on that dividend over time.
Yeah, exactly. And this is where compounding is so powerful. When the company raises their dividend, your yield on cost goes up even if you don't buy any more stock. It's like getting free money just for holding on to the stock.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But how does that snowball effect we've been talking about apply to these dividend growth stocks?
Well, when you reinvest those growing dividends, you're actually buying more shares of that company. And then those new shares make even more dividends, which you can reinvest. It keeps growing and growing.
Wow, that's awesome. It's like compounding twice. The dividends themselves are growing, and you're using them to buy more stock to get even more dividends.
Exactly. Dividend growth investing is great for building wealth over the long term and getting passive income. It could even help you become financially independent.
That sounds great for new and experienced investors.
You're right. It's a pretty simple approach. There are lots of resources out there that can help you find high-quality companies that have a history of increasing their dividends.
So we're talking about the long-term rate, not picking the hottest stock of the day.
That's right. This is a long game. You're looking for companies that you believe in, ones that have a strong track record, a solid business model, and that want to reward their shareholders.
So building a portfolio of companies that you feel good about owning, knowing that your money is helping them grow, and that they're sharing their success with you through dividends.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. It's about putting your money where your values are and being part of the growth of companies that you believe in.
Okay, so we've talked about how to make compounding work for us. But let's be real. Are there any challenges or things people should watch out for?
Definitely. Like with anything powerful, you need to understand compounding and be strategic about it. I think one of the biggest problems is people being impatient.
It's a world of instant gratification. It's easy to expect things to happen overnight.
Exactly. But compounding takes time. It's like when you plant a seed. You have to take care of it, give it time, and be patient.
So how do you fight that impatience and stay focused on the long game when it comes to compounding?
I think a good place to start is remembering your why. Why are you saving? Why are you investing? What are you working towards? If you have a clear purpose, it'll help keep you committed, even when things get tough, like when the market changes or you feel like giving up.
So it's like having a guide to remind you why you started this journey in the first place.
Exactly. Another tip is to break down those big goals into smaller milestones. It makes the journey seem less scary, and you get to celebrate the wins along the way to keep you motivated.
So it's like creating momentum so you feel like you're moving towards that bigger goal.
That's it. And you know what else helps? Being around other people who are doing the same thing. Connect with people who have the same goals as you, who are on a similar path. It can encourage you and keep you accountable.
So it's like having a team of cheerleaders, mentors, and accountability partners all in one. Having those people around can make such a big difference.
You know you're going to hit bumps in the road. Setbacks are a part of life. Don't let them get you down.
It's not about avoiding the setbacks. It's about seeing them as opportunities to learn and grow.
Exactly. Figure out what happened, adjust what you're doing, and keep going. You got to be resilient. That's a big part of compounding.
And this brings us to risk management. You can't just focus on growing your money without thinking about how to protect it.
You're right. In the financial world, that means diversifying your investments, knowing how much risk you can handle, and having strategies to avoid big losses.
So spreading out your investments is key to managing risk.
Absolutely. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Put your money in different types of assets like stocks, bonds, real estate, maybe even some alternative investments. Think about different industries in different parts of the world. The more diverse your portfolio is, the less likely you are to lose everything if something bad happens.
And you have to know how much risk you're comfortable with, right? What might be risky for one person might be fine for someone else.
Exactly. There's no one right way. It's about finding what works for you, for your goals, your time frame, and how comfortable you are with the market changing.
And what about ways to avoid big losses? What are some tools or techniques people can use?
One that's common is a stop-loss order. It's kind of like insurance for your trades. You set a price, and if the stock goes down to that price, your stocks will automatically be sold. It limits how much you can lose.
So even if you're not always watching the market, you have a safety net to stop a small loss from becoming a big one.
Exactly. Another thing to watch out for is over-leveraging. That means borrowing money to invest. It can help you make more money, but it can also make you lose more, potentially wiping out your gains or even putting you in debt.
It's like speeding up without knowing how to brake.
That's a good way to put it. Leverage can be useful, but you have to be careful and know what you're doing. You have to understand the risks.
So risk management is all about protecting your investments and making sure your money keeps compounding. It's about being smart, not reckless.
Exactly. Okay, so let's change gears a bit and see how this idea of compounding applies to building skills. Just like we can compound our money, we can also compound our skills, knowledge, and expertise.
You know, we often think of compounding in terms of money, but it's a much bigger idea. It applies to so many parts of our lives.
Absolutely. And when we're talking about building skills, it's all about that idea of getting 1% better every day. It's realizing that even small efforts repeated over time can give you amazing results.
It's those small improvements, those daily practices, those little changes that when compounded can turn you into a master.
That's right. It's like building a tower brick by brick. Each brick might seem small, but when you put them all together, you get something strong, impressive, and long-lasting.
Okay, so could you give us some examples of how this compounding effect works when you're building skills? What are some things people can do to maximize their growth?
The key is consistency. It's not about being perfect every day. It's about showing up and doing the work even when you don't want to. It could be writing for 30 minutes every day, practicing guitar, or spending an hour learning a new language. The more consistent you are, the more you compound.
So building a routine or structure can help support those small, consistent actions.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of finding mentors, learning from experts, and doing deliberate practice.
A mentor can give you guidance, share their experience, and give you really valuable feedback that can help you grow faster.
Right. And deliberate practice is about focusing on the things you're not good at, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, and always looking for ways to improve.
So it's not just doing the same thing over and over. It's about being intentional, focusing, and always trying to get better.
Exactly. You have to remember that becoming a master is a journey, not a destination. It's about enjoying the process of constantly learning and getting better and celebrating the small victories along the way.
And it's important to remember that just like with anything else, there will be ups and downs, plateaus, and times when you get frustrated.
That's true. Those challenges are opportunities for you to learn and grow.
So developing resilience, a growth mindset, and the ability to bounce back from setbacks are all important.
And remember, all the skills you learn, the knowledge you gain, and the experiences you have compound over time and become valuable assets that can help you throughout your life.
It's an investment that pays off in many ways, opening up opportunities, making you more creative, and empowering you to make a real difference in the world.
And those benefits go beyond just your professional life. They make your personal life better, your relationships stronger, and give you a feeling of fulfillment. They make you a more well-rounded person who can face life's challenges with confidence and grace.
Let's talk about another aspect of compounding that often gets overlooked. Compounding relationships. We've talked about money and skills, but relationships are just as important, don't you think?
Absolutely. Just like we put effort into our finances and our skills, we need to invest in our relationships too. The connections we build and nurture are like treasures that enrich our lives in countless ways.
We should see relationships as dynamic and ever-changing, just like any other investment. They can grow, deepen, and evolve over time.
That's a great point. And just like anything valuable, relationships need care, time, and attention to thrive.
So how can people apply the idea of compounding to their relationships? What can they do?
I think one of the most important things is reciprocity. It's about giving back as much as you get, offering support, encouragement, being a good listener, celebrating each other's wins, and being there for each other during tough times.
So it's about finding a balance where both people feel valued, respected, and supported.
Exactly. It's about building trust, understanding, and a sense of shared experience.
And it's not always about big gestures or expensive gifts. It's about those small, consistent acts that show love, appreciation, and care.
That's right. It's those little things we do every day that really matter. Those acts of kindness, gestures of support, and moments of connection that over time create strong bonds filled with shared memories, inside jokes, and unspoken understanding.
It's those random phone calls to say hi, those handwritten notes of encouragement, those shared meals and adventures that truly strengthen relationships.
Exactly. It's about being present in each other's lives, sharing both the good and the bad, the successes and the struggles.
It's about being there for each other through thick and thin offering, support, a listening ear, and a kind heart.
And it's about being willing to forgive. Because let's face it, no relationship is perfect. We'll disagree, misunderstand each other, and hurt each other's feelings along the way. But it's how we handle those challenges, how we choose to forgive and move on, that determines if the relationship will last and be strong.
Forgiveness is like hitting the reset button.
Yeah.
It allows the relationship to grow and move forward instead of staying stuck in the past.
That's right. And it's not just about forgiving other people, it's about forgiving yourself, too. Holding on to guilt, shame, or anger can stop you from fully experiencing the power of compounding relationships.
It's about treating ourselves with the same kindness and compassion that we offer to others. We need to remember that we're all human, we all mess up, and that real growth happens when we learn from our mistakes and keep moving forward.
Okay, so let's talk about some practical ways to make those relationships stronger.
Because in our busy lives, it's so easy to let those connections slip away.
You're right. The most important thing is to make time for the people who really matter. Schedule those calls, those coffee dates, those weekend trips. Put them on your calendar like you would any other important meeting.
Because just like anything else, relationships need time and effort.
Exactly. And it's not just about how much time you spend together. It's also about the quality of that time.
Being present, really listening, and having conversations that matter.
And don't forget to show appreciation. Tell the people in your life how much you care. Don't assume they know.
A simple thank you, a sincere compliment, a gesture of support. Those small expressions of love and appreciation really matter.
You're right. Gratitude is contagious. When you show appreciation, it makes other people want to do the same. It creates a chain reaction of kindness.
And it's not just about showing appreciation to others, it's about appreciating ourselves too.
That's so important. We need to recognize our own strength, celebrate our wins, and appreciate the things that make us unique.
It's about acknowledging our journey, appreciating how far we've come, and recognizing the good things in our lives, even when things are tough.
Now let's switch gears and talk about another area where compounding can make a big difference. Habits. Just like we invest in our money, our skills, and our relationships, we can invest in our habits too.
Habits are powerful. They shape our thoughts, our actions, and ultimately our lives. The more we focus on developing good habits, the more they compound, creating momentum that can propel us forward in every area of our lives.
It's all about realizing that the small choices we make each day can have a huge impact on our lives in the long run.
Absolutely. And just like with compound interest, those small, consistent actions can build up and lead to incredible results.
So what are some important principles for building habits that have this compounding effect? Consistency is key. You don't have to be perfect every time. It's more about showing up and doing it regularly, even when you don't feel like it.
It's about establishing a routine that makes it easier to stick with the habit.
Right. Don't try to do too much all at once. Pick 1 or 2 habits you want to develop and focus on those until they become second nature.
So set realistic goals and break down those big aspirations into smaller steps.
Exactly. And don't forget to celebrate those small wins. They'll keep you motivated and committed to the bigger goal.
And writing those goals down and looking at them often is important.
It's a simple but powerful way to keep your goals in mind, track your progress, and keep yourself accountable.
What about visualization? Does that actually work?
Visualization is amazing. Imagine yourself achieving your goal. Really feel the emotions and experience the satisfaction. It makes you believe you can do it and helps you attract those results into your life.
So you're basically programming your mind for success. You're telling yourself, this is who I am, this is what I can do, and your actions start to match those thoughts.
That's right. And remember, setting goals is not a one-time thing. It's something you do continuously. Your goals will change as you grow and change.
So be flexible and willing to adjust your path, but always keep that bigger vision in mind, those things you want to achieve.
Well said. Now we've looked at compounding in many different areas of life, from finances and skills to relationships and even habits. It's pretty amazing how this one principle can apply to so many things.
It reminds us that small, consistent actions done over and over again can lead to amazing results. And it's not just about getting rich or achieving specific things. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves, living a more fulfilling life, and making the world around us a better place.
I totally agree. It's a journey of growth, continuous learning, reaching our potential, and making a positive impact that goes beyond just us.
It's inspiring to think that we all have the power to harness this force to create that snowball effect in our own lives and in the lives of others.
And you don't have to wait for a big opportunity or a lucky break. You can take action today, even if it's just a small step, and trust that over time, those consistent efforts will lead to remarkable results.
So let's talk about some specific habits that compound and how they can really change our lives.
Because understanding compounding is one thing, but putting it into practice is what really makes a difference.
Absolutely. One of the most basic habits is saving. It's about setting aside some of your income regularly, even if it's not much.
It's about making saving a priority, a non-negotiable part of your financial plan.
Exactly. And the great thing about saving is that you can start at any age and with any income.
Even small amounts saved consistently can grow into big sums over time. That's true. And it's not just about saving money, it's also about saving time. It's about making smart choices about how you spend your time focusing on the things that are important to you, the things that match your values and bring you joy.
So it's about saying no to the things that distract us, take up our time, and prevent us from living our best lives.
You got it. It's about realizing that time is our most valuable resource. And if we manage it well, we can have more time for the things that really matter, like spending time with loved ones, following our passions, or just enjoying some quiet time.
So being mindful of our time, making choices that align with what's important to us, and creating a life that's both fulfilling and productive.
Now let's talk about another important habit: learning. In today's world, learning never stops. It's necessary if you want to grow and succeed.
The world is changing so quickly that people who embrace lifelong learning are the ones who will thrive.
It's about recognizing that learning isn't limited to school or the early years of your career. It's a journey that lasts a lifetime, a journey of discovery, exploration, and growth.
It's about staying curious, always seeking new knowledge, and constantly expanding your skills.
And there are so many ways to learn now, like online courses, podcasts, books, articles, and mentorships. The important thing is to find methods that work for you, things that make you curious and excited to learn.
And it's also about having a curious mind, being open to new ideas, challenging our beliefs, and seeing things from different perspectives. Learning isn't just about getting information. It's about expanding our understanding of the world and ourselves.
Exactly. It's about developing a growth mindset, believing in your ability to learn and adapt, and recognizing that every experience, every encounter, and every challenge is a chance to grow.
Now let's talk about a habit that's really important for our physical, mental, and emotional health: exercise.
Exercise is about so much more than just being physically fit. It's about mental clarity, emotional resilience, managing stress, and having energy. It's about taking care of our bodies so we can live long, healthy, and fulfilling lives.
And the good thing about exercise is that it doesn't have to be intense or take a lot of time to be beneficial.
Right. Even a little bit of moderate activity done regularly can make a big difference. The key is to find activities you enjoy that fit into your life and that you can stick with.
Whether it's walking, dancing, swimming, biking, or going to the gym, the important thing is to find something you like and make it a regular part of your routine.
Exactly. And the benefits of exercise just keep adding up over time.
The more we move, the stronger we get, the more energy we have, the better we sleep, and the better we can handle stress and illness.
It's like a positive chain reaction that affects every area of our lives.
Okay, so let's talk about a habit that's often forgotten, but has a huge impact on our happiness, well-being, and relationships: gratitude.
Gratitude is powerful. It's about shifting our focus from what we don't have to what we already do have. It's about appreciating the good, the beautiful, and the meaningful in our lives, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem.
So it's about recognizing all the good things we already have, even when we face challenges.
And the more we practice gratitude, the more we experience those good feelings. It's like a muscle that gets stronger with use.
So how do we make gratitude a habit?
A simple but effective way is to keep a gratitude journal.
Write down 3 things you're grateful for each day.
Right. They can be big things like a loving family or a great job, or small things like a sunny day or a delicious meal.
It's about training our minds to focus on the positive, to appreciate the little things, and to feel content and happy.
And it's not just about writing things down, it's also about telling other people how much you appreciate them.
Whether it's a simple thank you to a store clerk, a heartfelt note to a friend, or a gesture of appreciation to a loved one, those expressions of gratitude can really make someone's day and strengthen your relationships.
Exactly. Gratitude is contagious. When we show appreciation to others, it encourages them to do the same. It creates a ripple effect of kindness.
And it's not just about expressing gratitude to others, it's about appreciating ourselves, too.
That's an important point. We need to acknowledge our own strengths, celebrate our achievements, and appreciate the unique qualities that make us who we are.
So acknowledge your journey with all its highs and lows and appreciate how far you've come.
Now let's shift our attention to a habit that's really important in our digital world: mindfulness.
In a world where we're constantly bombarded with notifications and distractions, it's more important than ever to develop the ability to be present.
Mindfulness is about paying attention to the present moment without judging it. It's about noticing our thoughts, feelings, and sensations without letting them control us.
It's about creating a pause, a space between what happens and how we react. This allows us to choose how we want to respond instead of just reacting automatically out of habit or emotion.
You got it. It's about becoming aware, having choices, and feeling empowered. And the more you practice mindfulness, the more natural it becomes.
It's about training your mind to be present, to focus on what truly matters, and to find peace and clarity in the middle of everyday chaos.
Exactly. And the great thing about mindfulness is that you can practice it anywhere, anytime.
You can take a few deep breaths before a meeting. Focus on how your feet feel on the ground while you walk, or just savor the taste of your food. Mindfulness is about paying attention to the present moment.
And the more you practice it, the more you realize that true happiness and peace come from within, not from external things. It's about being present in the moment.
Now let's talk about another habit that's essential for creating the life you want: setting goals.
Goal setting is like having a roadmap for your life. It gives you direction, motivates you, and helps you focus your energy on the things that are truly important.
It's about taking charge of your life, recognizing that you have the power to shape your own destiny, and taking specific steps to create the future you want.
That's right. So what are some important things to keep in mind when setting goals?
Well, first of all,
You need to set SMART goals. Goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
right, no more vague stuff like be more successful. We need clear and actionable goals.
Exactly. So instead of be more successful, you might say, increase my sales by 15% this quarter. That's specific, you can measure it, and you can set a deadline.
And it has to be something you actually care about, something that's aligned with your values. There's no point in chasing someone else's idea of success.
You're absolutely right. Your goals should motivate you, make you want to take action.
What about breaking down those big goals into smaller steps? Is that important for staying motivated and on track?
It's essential. Big goals can be overwhelming. Breaking them down into smaller, achievable milestones makes the process less intimidating and gives you a sense of accomplishment as you go.
So maybe instead of trying to write an entire book, you could start with a chapter each week, or even just a page every day.
Exactly. And make sure to celebrate those small wins. It keeps you motivated and reminds you that you're working towards that bigger goal.
Don't forget to write down your goals and look at them regularly.
That's a simple but powerful thing to do. It keeps those goals at the forefront of your mind, helps you monitor your progress, and holds you accountable.
What about visualization? Does that really work?
Visualization is a great tool. Imagine yourself achieving your goal. Feel the emotions. Imagine how good it'll feel. It makes you believe in yourself and helps attract those outcomes into your life.
It's almost like you're setting your mind up for success. You're telling yourself, this is who I am, this is what I can achieve, and then your actions start aligning with that vision.
Precisely. And remember that setting goals is an ongoing process. Your goals will change as you grow and evolve.
So be flexible and make adjustments as you go, but never lose sight of the bigger picture, those things you want to achieve.
That's a great point. So we've explored compounding in many different areas of life, from money and skills to relationships and habits. It's really interesting how this one principle can be applied so broadly.
It's a reminder that small, consistent actions taken over time can lead to amazing results. And it's not just about making money or achieving specific things. It's about becoming the best versions of ourselves, living more fulfilling lives, and making the world a better place.
I agree. It's a journey of continuous growth learning and expanding our potential to make a positive impact on the world.
It's truly inspiring to think that we all have this power to create that snowball effect in our own lives and inspire others to do the same.
And you don't have to wait for some perfect moment or a stroke of luck. You can start today. Take a small step and trust that consistent effort over time will lead to amazing things.
Thanks for joining us on the Profitable Mindset Podcast. We hope this discussion on compounding was insightful and motivating. Remember, the power to transform your life is within you. Start small, stay consistent, and watch as those small actions grow into extraordinary results. Until next time, keep those profitable mindsets engaged.